You know, that's such a great setting. I think Jamie Bamberg said it best when he said our show's a period piece. And you always think of a period piece as like powdered wigs or you know, suits of armor, like something set in 15th century England, but a period piece is just an intense drama set at any place in time. Yeah. We just happen to be set in the future, but that's what we were. We were an intense period piece drama. But you know, my experience is that there's nothing I've ever done that's resonated as much as the sci-fi genre has. And that's why I'm a little disappointed that, you know, when we left the Sci-Fi Network at the end of Battlestar, they rebranded the whole network with this SYFY.
Oh, yeah.
This watered down version of sci-fi, and it's such an insult to the genre, because that was the whole point of the Sci-Fi Network, was a place that you specifically tuned in to watch that genre. Don't try to rebrand yourself and reach a broad audience. I mean, people don't tune into the Food Network to watch racing.
Still not as bad as the History Channel.
Doesn't show cooking shows. You know, it's like you don't need. There's a reason for. There's home and garden television. You know what you're going to get by the name of it. Sci-fi was supposed to be that. And somebody got it in their mind that, hey, well, let's open it up, let's try to expand, and, you know,
just put wrestling on.
Shows, and they try to broaden a market for a very successful niche market, and I think they watered down their own product.
Yeah, I agree with that actually, with the wrestling and the other stuff you put on there.
Exactly.
Yeah, one last question too. I'm sorry I'm bugging you.
No.
But, so if you had the opportunity to do another sci-fi show again, similar to Battlestar Galactica, would you do it, and would you think it would be as enjoyable, if not better than what you did before?
You know, that's a hard question to answer, and unfair, not that you're unfair, but because I'm so biased, I don't know that anything will ever live up to the experience.
Yeah.
You know, even Eddie almost said to us all, and he was sort of, you know, Papa Eddie, he was the admiral, you know, he really was. He was the admiral of the show, he was our patriarch. And he was always like, this is the best rapping show you'll ever do. Really, it's always like, yeah, it's never gets any better than this. Okay, so we have nothing else to look forward to. And he was right in a lot of ways. You know, there are still great shows currently in that genre that are on television now. I mean, I know Falling Skies is one that's going to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. I know it's doing, you know, and there's obviously many more to be written still. Yeah. So I would never say never. It really just always comes down to script, you know, the quality of the script. But I know that there's something. I think Ron's even doing something now. Ron Moore is doing something for the Sci-Fi Channel, I think.
Really?
So there's always the potential for something like Battlestar to come along. But I definitely would do it. I love the genre. I mean, I don't, you know, I don't preclude myself from anything. The possibilities are endless. So yeah, I would definitely do it for Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You bet. Hi.
I have two questions.
Sure, I got two answers.
Similar.
Okay.
The first one is, have you seen the 1978 version, and what do you think?
I haven't. I was aware of it. I was a very young boy. I was about 18. No, I think I probably did see it when I was a kid, but I don't remember it.
It's not as good.
Really?
At all. No, you're not missing out on that much.
It's different. Really?
No.
Okay, we'll call it different. No, I didn't see it.
But I don't know if you know this, but I forgot the name of the actor who played Tom Zarek.
Yeah.
Played Apollo.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Richard Hatch.
Richard Hatch.
Yeah, no, that I know.
That's why I watched it, and then I was like,
Yeah, Richard Hatch. Well, no, Richard Hatch is actually a large part and reason for why there is even the second version of Battlestar Galactica. Our version even came to fruition because Richard Hatch had been carrying the torch for the show since the original, and he was a huge advocate and champion for the show. And I think he had a lot to do with it even coming back. And his portrayal of Tom Zarek was awesome. I mean, I thought, you know, Richard Hatch was phenomenal on that show. And I never saw him was he Apollo or Star Wars?
It was Apollo.
So I never saw that. But I always thought, you know, again, you know, our show, everybody was so perfectly cast. I thought Richard as Tom Zarek, I loved the scenes. I thought he was great on the show. So everybody, you know, he is part of the fabric of Battlestar and had a large part in getting it back.
And the second part is, have you seen Caprica?
I did.
And what did you think of Caprica?
I thought Caprica was mishandled and misguided because I thought that was an excellent show. I remember watching the pilot with Tomo, actually. We were at Universal, they had a screening. we both kind of looked over each other like, kind of passing the torch. And I thought there was a lot of potential for that series to pick up where we left off. And then somehow, but you know, this all goes back to that thing I said before about the Sci-Fi Network. This was right in the time when they were starting to rebrand Sci-Fi into SYFY, and I think they took that show and there was a whole campaign with the 13-year-old girl with an apple and the Eve and the snake, and I was like, what are they doing? You know, like, that's not what Caprica was to me. Caprica was about the families, you know, and I thought that show was just mishandled. I think that it needed to be given a better chance. I mean, there was a lot of good material that could have been mined from that show, and I don't know what happened with it. But I liked it. I just remember I saw that opening and I was like, oh, this is cool. I dig it. And I was hoping it would succeed.
At the beginning, I thought it was late, and then as it went on, they felt like they ran out of, or they didn't know what they wanted to do with what they had.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think the ideas were there, but I think that there was a lot of pressure from, you know, from forces that are way above my pay grade to go a certain degree, you know, do it like this, or like, we need more of this. And I just felt like you got too many cooks in the kitchen. Which is oftentimes is the problem with network television, and that's why people love cable television, because, you know, there's a lot of laissez-faire, hands-off kind of, you know, just you do your own thing and make your show, we're not going to get in the way. And I think sometimes too many people are trying to drive the creative direction of the show, it gets watered down. And I don't know that specifically is what happened with Caprica, but I just know that what I had seen, like you, in the beginning, I was like, oh, this is great. You know, Eric Stoltz, I think it was, and Isai Morales, and these fantastic actors. And I was so engaged. And Isai is a good friend of mine, and I had a chance to work with him on the show I did, Fairly Legal, and I just was always saying that he did such great work in that show, and I would love to see that go on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How's it going?
Hi, two questions.
Did you have to go outside again? Or okay. Did I get too much away? I was on a show called Fairly Legal. Damn it! Why didn't you tell me that? No, go ahead. Sorry.
Right now, what's the idea, dude? Hey,
He's very good.
oh, okay.
Alright, we're going to be here all night.
I got enough.
Where sit down, you're comfortable. Sorry, you were saying?
I'll let you have my first question is just, what did you think of Samuel Keanu's becoming a Viper pilot and now?
You know, I kind of wish that I wish they expanded on that. That was really fun. That was really fun.
Did it make sense to you?
No, not at all. That's why I liked it. Like, okay.
Sure, why not?
It's like, yeah, it'd be like, you know, Tom Brady showing up on the set of Top Gun. I know you play football, but this is an F-A-A-T. And this was an athlete, you know, and then it became like this kind of haphazard, random freedom fighter, but they're like, you got it, just give it this thing, fly it around, you'll be fine. Like, no training, you know, just jump right in there. But,
it was starting to be too much of a stay-at-home husband kind of thing.
yeah, so they just decided to throw me in the jet. You know, no, I didn't make any sense, did it? But it was really cool.
Hence the name.
It's like it's kind of iconic to be able to sit and sat in the Viper, you know. So I think what it was, 1 episode, 2 episodes, or something. I flew around and they scanned my eye, something like that.
Yeah, for a robot to come and didn't kill you.
Yeah, right. And then there was that retinal scan. Yeah, I was like, cool. My eye got close. I always wanted to see. Every time I saw a movie with somebody's eye, I was like, oh, that's so touching. The whole eye was the entire frame. I got one of those. There might even be a picture of it. Never mind. Working on that one, okay.
My follow-up question is, do you remember anything about the whole Demetrius act, and could you give some color on that?
The Demetrius. I mean, with that whole sequence where on the ship?
Yep, with Kara was the captain.
One of my favorite sequences on the show was in the Demetrius. I'm so glad you brought that up. I always forget about that. It's because that was one of my favorite sequences ever. Was the whole setting, the whole mood of that ship. I think I mentioned this earlier yesterday in the panel with Tomo that we had what they call practical sets, which are sets that are actually built in reality as opposed to being a lot of CGI. And the Demetrius was a practical set, and the construction of the Demetrius was incredible. And there was a mood that came with that place that really permeated the set, and I just liked it. That's when the show was really kind of dark, and that whole sequence with the open, and yeah, that was one of my fondest memories and my favorite arcs for at least my character, for Anders, was on the Demetrius. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. How's it going?
Good. So,
Cheers.
bottoms up.
It's just iced tea.
You started in season 2. Was there always a season 2 planned, or did the actors